The Institute for Financial Literacy is a collaboration between MoneySense, the National Financial Education Program, and Singapore Polytechnic International. The Institute is the outreach arm of MoneySense. We conduct free and unbiased financial education programs for the public. MoneySense is Singapore's national financial education program set up in 2003 and is currently overseen by MAS, Monetary Authority of Singapore, and MOM, Ministry of Manpower. MoneySense aims to help Singaporeans manage their money well and make sound financial decisions on their own. Introduction to Estate Planning. This is the first video in a series of 3 on estate planning. In this video, we will be covering what estate planning is, the unintended consequences of intestacy, the objectives of estate planning, and the considerations when drawing up an estate plan. What is estate planning? Estate planning is about how you want your estate, which is the money, assets and the savings you worked hard for, to be distributed after your death. It is about making sure that the people and causes you care about receive what you want to give them. Why do people avoid estate planning? First, death is an unpleasant topic. Many would avoid thinking and talking about it. Second, many people think they still have plenty of time to give their final instructions, so they tend to delay it. Third, taking action is seen as being tedious and time-consuming. Fourth, there are some who are totally uninterested in estate planning. And last, some people think they do not have much to distribute anyway, so why bother in the first place? What happens when you do not plan? If you do not plan, your family members will encounter delays in gaining access to your assets, as there are legal requirements that have to be met. This could take many months. There could also be disputes within your family as to who is to perform certain functions, as well as who gets which assets. We will explore these issues later. You should also be aware that without an estate plan, your assets will be distributed according to the Intestate Succession Act for non-Muslim estates, and that this distribution may not necessarily be in accordance with your wishes. What is intestacy? Intestacy arises when a person dies without a valid will, which means that his or her estate will have to be distributed according to the Intestate Succession Act. For Muslims, their estates must be distributed according to Islamic inheritance laws. Here is how estates are distributed according to the Intestate Succession Act. What are the unintended consequences of intestacy? Earlier, we mentioned that if a person dies intestate, there are considerations to bear in mind as well as issues that need to be resolved. For example, there could be beneficiary issues. If a beneficiary is a bankrupt, your assets could end up with that beneficiary's creditors. Furthermore, if you leave behind a spouse and children, then your elderly parents will be excluded and will receive nothing. Your beneficiaries may be too young or lack the mental capacity to manage their inheritance. Guardianship issues. If both parents pass away at the same time, there is no certainty as to who the children's guardian will be. Disputes may arise as to who is the most suitable person to be the guardian. An ex-spouse may be able to gain access to your assets in the capacity of being the other parent of the children. Administrator issues. Since only one person has the power to act on your behalf, disputes may arise. The person who is to act as the administrator needs to apply to the court formally. It's important to note that the law gives priority to the next of kin of the deceased person's family, and that at least 2 administrators are required where there are 1 or more minor beneficiaries. Settlement issues. The assigned administrator has to file an administration bond with 2 sureties. Each surety must have assets worth the total value of the deceased's estate. Resolving these issues will take time and additional legal costs will be incurred. Objectives of estate planning. Estate planning is important as it ensures your estate is properly managed to provide for those you care about. It is essential if you want your assets to be distributed according to your wishes. The main objectives are to ensure the maximum value of your assets for your beneficiaries, to ensure that your wealth is distributed to your beneficiaries according to your wishes, to ensure that the needs of minors are looked after, to identify and implement the most effective methods of estate transfer, to identify the persons or professionals to execute the estate plan. Considerations when preparing an estate plan. Who or what matters to you? Are there any persons who are financially dependent on you, such as children, parents, grandparents, siblings with special needs, someone dear to you, or even a cause or an organization? How long will your funds be needed to sustain them? If there are minors, remember to think about who their guardian will be if you pass away. Do you have any liabilities? Your estate may be required to settle any outstanding debts you may have. If those debts are large, this could significantly reduce your legacy. Do you have an overseas portfolio? The local law in the countries in which you own assets will have to be considered. Also remember that costs such as inheritance taxes and estate duties may have to be paid. To avoid burdening your loved ones, if you own foreign assets, you may consider engaging the services of local experts. How to ensure that your funds go to your desired beneficiaries? What are the means or tools of transfer? A will is the most common way to do so, but not the only way. What are the other alternatives? Here are the key takeaways. Estate planning is about how you want your estate, which is the money, assets and the savings you worked hard for, to be distributed after your death. Proper estate planning minimizes family disputes and delays in estate distribution, saving time and money. Intestacy can lead to unintended consequences such as beneficiary and guardianship issues.